Greetings, people. We're back with another episode of Three Men and an Anime.
Hooray!
We're still doing this.
We are.
Okay.
This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friends and co-hosts Eric Carlson and Gav Leaf. How are you guys doing tonight?
I don't know why, but it was perfectly pleasant until someone decided to set the climate to Satan's asshole after a 6-hour workout.
I see.
Oddly enough, I was just thinking the exact same thing. It's just suddenly become stupidly muggy, which is
Yeah.
like it's kind of coincidental considering there's a fucking ocean between us.
Fair point. Anyways, this week we are covering Gav's most recent series selection, Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn.
I suggested a
Yay!
Gundam show. What a shock!
One of you two
I think
suggested a Gundam show. We've all suggested at least one.
I think we've all done at least one. Yeah.
Yes.
We have all done at least one. It's arguable whether Gav or I did the least Gundam-like Gundam series. I think Gav has that title. I'm pretty sure.
What
I
was
don't
that,
know.
Bull Fighters?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because Build Fighters only exists because
Because of G Gundam, I know.
Yeah.
Especially
And
this season of
G Gundam
Build.
is-
Especially this season, you did Gav.
Yeah.
Oh.
And let's face facts, G Gundam is basically just Messenger with the serial numbers filed off.
You're not entirely wrong. Huh, maybe that's why I like G Gundam so much.
Maybe.
At any rate, we're covering Unicorn, though, which is a much more traditional Gundam series.
Yes.
Yes.
Except that it's only 7 episodes long. 7 1-hour long episodes long. Well, the 7th one is hour and a half.
Six 1-hour long episodes and then a movie.
Yeah.
And technically, as we were just discussing when Peter jumped in there are technically 11 episodes. But what essentially happened is they got to the end of the 7th and thought this is a good stopping point. That's the series in and of itself. But there are 4 more episodes up to episode 11 which continue the story that are never we found we watched it via Netflix.
Yeah.
Because it's on there because of the whole Hathaway thing going on right now. And whenever you find a show like that on a streaming service or on TV or whatever else, they show the 7 episodes. That is Gundam Unicorn. The extras, I don't know whether they refer to them as OVAs or anything like that, but they were released exactly the same way. They got the Yamato treatment, where the first 3 episodes were part of a movie, the second set of 3 were part of a movie, and the last 3, whatever. And they released them year after year after year. The first 3 came out in 2007, then 2008, 2009. No, sorry, I've got that wrong. 2007 was the first 3 in the winter. Then through 2008, they finished the rest of it off. Took a whole year for this series to come out, basically.
Yep.
And then in 2009, they released another 3-parter, and then they did the whole Peacekeeper Wars and finished it all off at the end in 2016 with another episode. So there's a lot of Gundam Unicorn out there, but for reference, because some smart ass always brings it up, well, technically, we're only doing the first 7.
Okay.
Yeah, also because I just found out those existed, and also, like, it had a pretty definitive ending, like...
Yeah. I mean, you can see where they're gonna push it on from the ending of Unicorn, but yeah, it's mostly a rehash from what I understand.
Yes, so...
The 7 are fine. The 7 are fine.
Yes.
The 7 are all you need,
Yes.
because I just found out about these, and doesn't matter, Marita Cruz is already dead, and Zimmerman's fucked off to wherever the fuck he's going, so, These are the 2 characters I like the most.
Yeah. So, Gundam Unicorn, sort of, from what I understand, from what you guys told me, was largely originally intended to basically be the capstone to the Universal Century. Given that it happens at the end of the Universal Century, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then they wrote more.
Yes.
And then they wrote F91 and Reconquista in G and God knows how many more.
I just watched Hathaway yesterday, and I was like, oh, this takes place in Universal Century 115?
Which is like 20 years, about 18 years after Unicorn, so yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 20 or was it? It was post Universal Century, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Looks like they're not dealing with what happened in Unicorn at all.
From what I understand, it was written before Unicorn. But they kind of ignored it when they actually developed Unicorn for
right.
TV, and then they decided, you know what, let's make it a thing anyway, because why not?
So anyway, back to the show at hand.
Yes. So just a little bit of groundwork, because I mean, we did a little bit of it with Origins way back when. So the Universal Century, one of the most feared phrases in all of Gundam fandom, because if you're trying to jump on, knowing what it is, why it is, where you are, and all the rest of it is a ball ache. But suffice to say, this show starts off at the very beginning of the Universal Century, 0001. Essentially, I don't know where it falls on our calendar. I think they did actually try and drop it in like when Gundam first came out in the 60s, 70s.
70s and 80s.
70s and 80s, but basically they brought an end to the AD calendar, the Anno Domini calendar, because it was the time when man moved into space. The Earth was too populated, 8-9 billion people living, and they started to colonize space. And to mark the occasion, they declared the Universal Century.
Yeah, well, they had the first viable long-term space colonies, is what it was.
Yeah. Now, Gundam in and of itself, everything you see, like the original stuff, Mobile Suit Gundam, 8th MS Team that we covered, all that kind of stuff, all takes place in 0079. So basically, the 79th year of the Universal Century. So the whole thing's almost fucking finished at this point, but we're starting there. Origins obviously dives back about, 20, 30 years previous to that, so mid-50s.
Over the course of it, because you got, like, Mr. Cassaval, and yeah.
But yeah, the main thing about it is it's towards the end. It's essentially 1979, for all intents and purposes, and we're heading to the new millennium. And Unicorn is set, I believe, 97.
96. 96. Yes, because a big plot point ends up being that Principality of Zeon is set to be dissolved in
4 years. Yeah,
in 4 years
at the turn of the century. Yeah, so basically, Zeon, the ones that basically said "fuck Earth, we're independent and we're gonna take over." Totally not a political coup of any kind. Of a particular fucking family. Their whole independence is basically due to end at the end of the century, and it's just this weird thing. But either way, we start off at 0001, the presidential palace, the presidential his private colony, signing the Declaration of Independence.
Effectively, yes,
something like that, of space.
To be the founding principles of the Universal Century. And how they want to handle things going forward.
Federation, yeah.
How space is governed, this, that.
I think it's like the Articles of the Federation or something like that, but
yeah,
something like in space.
Yes, in space. Yeah,
literally carved in stone.
Giving a lovely, wonderful speech, and then everything explodes.
Yes.
Literally.
Terrorists blow up the colony.
Because terrorism. They never really say why they do this.
They do towards the end.
At the end, yeah, but it's just like there's no reason given. It's like humanity is moving to the stars. We're going to have all these colonies. Apparently, that guy doesn't like that idea.
Well, that guy doesn't like the idea of something I'm saying, and boom.
Yeah.
Thus starting things off beautifully for the nascent Federation.
Yes.
That's a good sign.
There's no further controversy at all. Fast forward to the 90s. Their 90s, not our 90s.
I'm glad I planted that seed. Well done, Eric.
So we're introduced to our primary character, Benager Lynx. Benager is a He's a Gundam protagonist who is not already in the military, so he is a teenager in high school.
I will say, going into this, having recently, again, because we mentioned the whole thing about Hathaway going on to Netflix,
Right.
I've recently been catching up with the original movies, which is like a cut down version of the original show.
Buddy.
You know that whole George Lucas thing about cyclical stories and time repeating itself?
Yeah, it's all over Unicorn. Like,
Oh,
Unicorn's
boy.
a giant love letter to 79.
Yeah.
Like,
Amuro and Banaj are like separated at, well, not birth, but you know.
Don't be
there are some definite
ridiculous.
similarities.
Banisher's Dead didn't actually design and build the unicorn.
no,
He just paid for it to be done.
He just paid for it to be designed and built.
Totally different. Also,
Yeah.
Banisher didn't know it was his dad. That the guy was his dad.
So as far as Banner knows, he is an orphan on what amounts to a charity. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's kind of like a technical college for, you know, serfs, basically. It's like the workhouse, except they train you.
No, it's better than that. He's on a scholarship.
Okay, fair enough.
He's on a scholarship there. Like one of the first things you find out about him is that he can't fuck up in school or he'll lose his scholarship because he doesn't have a family. That means he's on the streets.
Right.
So,
yeah. That's where the impression came from. Yeah. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Um.
But he's one of those distracted. You know, he's always gazing off into the stars. He's got friends, but he's the weird one of the group. Like people, it's that annoying trope of the lead character where, like, you know, if you're in like a real life society and you're that weirdo that doesn't really try to engage with the group, and the group eventually say "fine, fuck you" and drift away. Well, no, these guys are like these fucking.
I feel attacked, Gav.
So do I.
To be fair, we don't see a lot of their how they actually interact day to day before
Yeah.
things start happening.
No, but
So
I
it is
get- I kinda
entirely
get the
likely
impression-
he actually comes across as reasonably sociable for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I admittedly, yeah, I'm going off the interactions we see for all of 10 minutes before
Yeah.
everything turns
Like,
to shit.
you know,
Yeah.
he's distracted because he's like, oh hey, look, there's a gun. There's a mobile suit there. I think that's cool because I like history.
Yeah. There's a Zaku. That Zaku, holy shit, that is literally a relic of the 1 Year War. That
Yeah.
could be the one that like attacked. What was it? Side
7?
7. I don't know. The one from the beginning of 79 because
Yeah,
they're
Side
not in
7.
our preferences to 79. We'll be referring to the original Mobile Suit Gundam as 79 because that was the year it was released and how.
Yeah.
Yep.
Otherwise, it'll be confusing. So yeah, he's basically on a school field trip, checking out the both the War Museum and the Snail, which is the gigantic factory that helps expand the colony that they're living on. Colonies in Gundam are basically giant cylinders that they spin for gravity, and people build on the inside of them, similar to say a Dyson ring, not a sphere, but a ring.
Imagine Halo, but really wide.
And much
Not nearly as
smaller.
big. Not nearly as big.
Yeah, not nearly as big.
I mean, 12 kilometers long and like 6 wide is still really big mega structure. Not nearly the size of Halo
No.
or Ring World or what
God,
have you.
or God help me, yeah, God help you, a Ring World.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, they're going to go check out the Snail, and they're currently at the War Museum. You know, it's a high school field trip.
Yeah, I mean, it is supposedly that there is a mention there that they get held up or something. There's the shuttle they were supposed to take back to their dorm or back to the actual school itself is delayed. They get stuck there, and because of that, while they're pissing around in the War Museum, you see like every. Go on.
Banner sees light moving, a point of light moving really fast off into space. Gee, I wonder what that is. Cut to.
I mean, they don't hide it. Yeah, I mean, Banner has no clue because of how far away he is. But you know, the camera, like the actual show, zooms straight in. It's like, yeah, this is the Unicorn Gundam. Bright white, looks completely like no other Gundam that came before it. And to be honest,
Yeah.
I remember when it first got revealed, everyone was like, "What the hell is this?" It was very unpopular for a while. It's kind of gained its popularity, and now people are used to it.
See, I really like the unicorn up until it transforms. But then I'm the guy that like goes gaga over Xeon suits. So
yes, monocolor. Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah,
which,
it's basically it's as all Gundams are. It's a prototype suit being put through its paces by a test pilot that can barely handle it because, of course, you know, a military trained, years of experience test pilot can't handle this new age technology. Can you guess who can?
to be fair, it is built with the intention of being with a psycho frame, which is a device built into the cockpit that like can basically infer the thoughts and intentions of the pilot. But it's not tuned to normal people. It's tuned to those newfangled new types, which are largely thought to be
This is this is the sort of thing that they do start to explain it a little bit, but this is the one thing about Unicorn. There's a lot of pre-knowledge that helps. Don't need it, but it helps. So again, new types are a thing that have been going through since '79, mostly in the Universal Century, but they do include them sometimes in the other, extra verses as well. Essentially, what it's the whole implication behind new types is that living in space, by the second or third generation, humans will evolve, almost psychic powers.
Almost.
Not like moving shit with their mind, but like precognition, reaction speeds. They basically get the Force.
Yeah,
they
really
become Anakin.
Subtle, like original trilogy Force, not like
no, it's Anakin. It's pod racing Anakin Force.
Yeah, not like throwing Force lightning and super speed Force.
Yeah, it's precognition, some mild. I mean, not like deliberate telepathy. It's more like
empathy. They're
empathy.
Empathic.
Yes, empathic, not telepathic. Empathic. That's the one I was looking for. And a few other things, but the actual intention of the Psycho Frame is a control mechanism. So when it's activated, essentially the pilot can think, and it's not a case of think, react, activate controls. It's think, mobile suit reacts. It's meant to speed things up. It's meant to give honestly, the actual Psycho Frame is meant to give regular pilots an advantage and a way to level the playing field versus new types. But then new types thought, well, let's try piloting it ourselves. And it's like, oh, this is cool. Makes us better.
Specifically made for new types.
It's
which
actually
we find out later.
Well, we find out it's made for hunting new types.
That too.
Well, yes, asterisk.
Yes, yes.
Because
it's made for something far more important than that, but
there are a lot of this is for this reason. Actually, it's for this reason. Actually, it's for this reason.
Yeah, look, I will state
this happens a few times.
We're going to be doing this where we're trying to explain a lot during the show. This show is fucking dark matter dense.
There is not
so much.
It is 7.5 hours long, and they are trying to cram in basically about as much information and stuff that happens and character interactions such as you pretty much get in a regular Gundam series.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to suggest we just drop the whole play-by-play we usually do.
We have to.
It
is too.
It will take the length of the series to explain it to you.
Not quite that bad, but the long and short of it is, in broad strokes, and if you really so before we go any further, if you really don't want it, in order to talk about the show, we have to spoil shit. There is no time. Let me sum up. I mean,
yeah.
So, if you want our opinion, if you have not watched Gundam Unicorn before we continue talking much any further, is good. Your enjoyment of it will vary depending on your tolerance for the higher end levels of space opera shenanigans, basically.
Yeah. It gets a little bit space opera at the end.
Well, it's Gundam space opera anyway. It always has been.
Well, yeah. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to not use the term space magic.
It was totally space magic.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it goes from sort of low level sort of levels of the Force to bordering on Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars micro series levels of Force bullshittery.
Yeah.
Different, but
no,
yeah,
not the exact same way, but I'm talking about in terms of scale and effect.
Yeah.
Or even what is it? The Star Wars game with the Vader's Apprentice. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh yeah, where he pulls a Star Destroyer out of the sky.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That. It's on that level.
Yeah.
Not telekinesis. There's lots of
it's not telekinesis, but it's complete. It is on that level of bullshit, though.
There's lots of precognition and beaming visions into each other's brains, and it's we'll get there.
But yeah, if you've got tolerance for that sort of thing, and some people do, and that's fine, you will like the ending of the series more than some other people will. Your enjoyment of the ending will vary on that. But up until then, it's a good show with very good characters, drop-dead gorgeous animation.
Characters, honestly.
Drop-dead gorgeous
Excellent
animation.
Characters, fucking a beautiful animation.
Great music, great sound work, great designs.
Just a great political mystery at the core of things.
Yeah, I was very glad it turned out to be a political mystery.
Yeah.
I was a little worried it wouldn't be.
You see, that's the main problem I have with a lot of Gundam. Unfortunately, they go in for that political stuff, and it's like so many of them just miss the mark because I think they tangle themselves up. But with this one, they manage it. Like most shows, it's a case of this group doesn't like this group for these reasons, and it's terribly complicated. It's so complicated that if I try to explain it right now, I'll probably make it worse. This one, they kind of reel it in, but there's a lot of different angles, a lot of different players all pushing and pulling in their own directions.
So I will say this: the overarching plot of the show is a MacGuffin hunt. They're hunting for Laplace's box.
Yes,
and which contains something that is possibly could threaten the Federation. I'm not going to spoil what that is now because it's a good point to stop and go watch the show. That's the overarching plot. Up until the last couple episodes, the plot is not the most engaging thing about the show. It is the character drama.
Character.
Yeah.
At which point the
players.
Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention that the various players are Neo Zeon, the Earth Federation, Anaheim Electronics, the Vist Foundation,
the Carencius,
Londo Bell, which is an independent, almost sort of like military police force in the Federation. There's a lot of players.
Yeah,
a lot of players.
There's a lot of different groups moving in either sometimes in concert, sometimes against each other, sometimes together but against each other simultaneously. It's a mess.
Hell, I'd even say the sleeves count as an entirely separate.
They would. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. It's like even in this instance, it's like you've got Zeon. Neo Zeon as its own separate. It essentially all boils down to Neo Zeon versus the Federation. But within each of those groups, you've got 3, 4, 5 different groups with their own.
Yeah, but what
ideals
I wanted
crossing lines.
Yeah, but I want to get sort of the very very simple sort of structure set up so that people can know if they what to go watch.
Right.
Before we actually get ourselves bogged down.
Yeah, it's a MacGuffin hunt for Laplace's box.
Yes. Which is...
No one knows what it is.
No one knows... Well, there are people who do know what it is, but we'll get to that. None of the people who are hunting for it know what it is the important thing. Other than supposedly it's a threat to the Federation.
Yeah, the only rumor about it is that the knowledge... whatever it is, or the knowledge is, or like I say, people are speculating whether it's a thing, whether it's knowledge, whether it's an idea, whether it's whatever,
or technology
weapon,
or something.
Or technology or whatever. Whatever it is, it's a massive threat that could bring down the Federation.
All right, so that's the basic overall plot, but the character, you will be drawn in for a long while with the character drama. Like
Yes.
the characters are really good and well developed and operate the way the character as presented would actually operate. I'm actually really impressed by that for the most part.
Yes.
A lot of the characters are actually very, very nuanced and well thought out. Some of them will seem very familiar to you if you've watched the original Gundam. There are a lot of there's a lot of the hero's journey going on here. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benanger, if you've seen 79, then Benanger is pretty much Amaro Ray. He's less of a git but more of a brat, or is it the other way? He's more of a git but less of a brat. Let's put it that way. I've recently watched 79, so
Yeah.
But yeah. So, anyways, it's worth watching. We all like it. Do that, and if you want to avoid spoilers, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Now we can actually talk about actually what's going on. Without we shouldn't dive into too much nitty gritty because we will be here all fucking night.
We really will.
So
the most important
overall
character.
thing.
I want to touch on the most important characters before we get to the plot. Though. So we got
Yes,
Bonager.
okay.
We have Audrey, otherwise Audrey, whom is totally not the last of the zombies.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, she is.
Totally not Minerva Zabi. Oh wait, she's Minerva Zabi.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
She is a young princess who is trying desperately to actually make things better.
Yeah.
And dear Lord, that girl is made out of fucking iron. I love her.
Yeah. She's great. Audrey's
She's
great.
a zombie.
Yeah, she's a zombie with
She's a zombie that wasn't raised by zombies.
yeah. She's a zombie who's actually got who's not a sociopath. Or psychopath, depending on which zombie.
Yeah.
She is a good person.
Yeah.
Like,
She honestly has the best interests of all parties in mind. Like she's trying to make sure things stay relatively stable, but people get what they want/need.
Yeah,
but I will also say, while she is that, she is also not naive.
No, not at all.
She is a fairly shrewd political operator, especially for someone who's like 15.
Yeah,
I think she's closer to 16 or 17, but yeah, she's
a teenager.
Yeah. She is absolutely like desperate to try and just like get past the stigma that her name carries.
Yep.
And just try and get shit done. Can one Zabi just talk sense?
Is it not possible? I mean, please. But yeah, Amuro meets her very early on. Not Amuro, sorry. Bonager meets her very early on and immediately takes a shine to her, because she is very charismatic and
she's very charismatic. She's very earnest, though not honest.
Yes.
Oh, once again, she's a zombie. She knows how to play politics, but she's not doing it deceptively, if you know what I mean. She's not doing it to... She hides what she needs to hide, and she tells what she needs to tell. But she's not doing it to connive people, just to, well, in her mind, to protect people from the truth. Because knowing who she is is in and of itself a huge fucking risk.
Yep. There is the Sleeves, who are a group of...
They're basically the deniable assets for Neo Zeon.
They are from what I understand, they're ex-Zeon soldiers who try to colonize, who try to basically settle down and, retire from the military kind of thing, and just said, we were on the wrong side of history, just leave us to it. And unfortunately, the Federation asshat soldiers wouldn't leave them to it, so they ended up basically becoming a mercantile guerrilla soldier kind of force.
And they are in general fairly. I mean, they work for Neo Zeon for the most part, but they have more leanings towards Minerva than they do to the person who's currently in charge of Neo Zeon.
Yeah.
Who has the stupidest name in the show?
Yeah. They are led by by Captain Zimmerman, who is my favorite character. Um,
He's a
and
wonderfully complicated man.
He's a wonderfully complicated man. I love Zimmerman. Um, and his totally not surrogate daughter, Marita Cruz, who is the pilot of the best mobile suit in all of Gundam. Don't at me. In fact, no, at me. Fight me. I'll fight you over this.
She pilots the Kshatriya, and Eric is right. It is a dead sexy bot. Like, it is one of it's one of those weirdly sort of big it is big. It is massive. And yet it has sort of a weird, slow grace to it. It's really cool. I really seeing that thing animated really made me go, okay, I get it. I get it. The Kshatriya is really fucking cool. I'm major props.
And Marita is also just a great character. Comes across as very stoic and cold, but yeah, she's got a lot of shit going on.
She's got a lot of past.
She definitely has a stoic and cold front that she keeps up for the most part.
Yeah.
It's... Again, Marita is one of those characters you can get by without knowing the backstory, but she's actually...
Oh, yeah. Well, like everything, it ties back into some part of the Universal Century before this.
She's a callback to Double Zeta.
Yeah.
Double Zeta, and again, this is another just to bring it up. Double Zeta was prevalent with this whole new type thing, and Zeon's attempt to create new types because they were more efficient human weapons. To the point where they started cloning people. Later in the show, Marita gets referred to
cyber implants and all this other shit.
Marita starts being referred to as Pla 12 because she's a clone of LPO Pla from Double Zeta.
Yep.
She's the 12th clone. And yeah, she didn't have a great life.
Until Zimmerman found her, and after his daughter was killed when the Federation attacked their colony, their home. And he adopted her, and well, they've made each other's lives much better.
Yes. It's actually remarkably sweet how much they go to the mat for each other.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Especially for characters that boil down to a scarred, embittered old soldier and a traumatized girl.
A traumatized child soldier.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, this what the fuck?
Yeah. It should be stated Marita's easily like 25, maybe even 30. She does not look like a little girl at all.
Well, she's not anymore.
No, she's not anymore. I just want to make that clear that she's like very much an adult and is shown as an old vet and not some infantilized weirdo. She's awesome.
Yeah.
I just happened to glance at her chat in reference to the princess here. Ashburn mentions she beat the shit out of Relena Peacecraft.
Absolutely, holy crap!
Really would.
Oh man.
As I said, oh,
not all blonde
chewing. She'd have her chewing the curb.
Not all blonde princess characters are built the same.
Like honestly, I will say this: her closest comp I can think of in sort of space opera in general might actually be Leia.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like she is that much of a stone cold badass. Honestly,
she is absolutely the political general.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's a great scene where they've had to link the Federation, the main Federation ship we follow, which we'll get to in a second, has to link up with a bunch of the Neo-Zeon folks. And there's a big they're negotiating with them. They're talking with them because big's their thing. And she stalks onto the bridge, having changed out of her normal clothes into full on Zabi Zeon outfit, and she's like, just immediately takes control of the scene. It's like, oh shit. And then one of the commandos takes her hostage, and she has this look of, oh really, fuck face. Oh yeah, go ahead, point the gun at my face. I don't care.
Do it. You'll be saving me a lot of trouble.
You shoot me, it will not go the way you think it's going to go. Me holding me hostage is not going to help you as much with that guy as you think it will. But you're a zombie.
The guy they're referring to is
that's actually a problem in this. It's full frontal, yes.
Yeah.
The stupidest name in the
Full Frontal
series.
is totally not Charanzable.
No, he's a clone.
Yeah.
He is. So they never come out and say he's a clone. They
No.
sort of dangle that maybe he's actually Char or someone who's taken up the mantle.
It's so heavily implied at the end that he is
heavily implied at the end that he is Char's clone.
Well, the official word, at least according to the wiki, he was somebody who physically looked a lot like Char. Went through surgery to improve the look,
and then he was mind wiped, basically.
And he was mind wiped, and basically this whole thing about psycho frames, they sat him in one of Char's old suits with a psycho frame and implanted Char's personality over the top.
Wow, that's worse than I thought.
That's actively worse than the clone.
His memories and emotional patterns were implanted from the psycho frame of one of the mobile suits previously piloted by Char.
Fuck all of these people.
That's actively even worse than just the clone trying to live up to his.
He's a clone. He's a clone cyber new type, just like Merida, with extra shit done to him.
Yeah. So Full Frontal is very heavily implied to be Char or what have you. I thought he was just a clone trying to live up to his progenitors.
No.
But no, this is new information. From the wiki. So thank you, Wikipedia.
Yeah.
He's exactly as ruthless and clever as the original Charanzable. And as good a pilot. There are several scenes where he's piloting this, or in the suit, and that's straight out of '79, except animated well.
Yeah.
And that it's animated at all.
Also,
it was the '70s. It was another time. I can forgive it.
I never realized this when I first started collecting them. The Sinanju in this show is actually an improvement and a developmental step forward from the old Sazabi. You know, the really big one.
Yep.
It's an unfair suit, is a Sinanju.
No, the Sinanju's are also another sexy suit. Not as sexy as a Kshatriya, but pretty sexy. Fight me.
There are some very good-looking mobile suits in the show.
There's some very sexy suits in the show. Even just the fucking like Gira Zulus.
I knew you were gonna like the Giras.
I love Xeon suits in general, and the grunt types just always like those are great.
I will say some of the advanced veg suits in this show that you see, the ones like the transforming ones, are pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah.
The Delta Plus that Ensign Riddy flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice looking suit.
That's straight out of
We should talk about
that is absolutely totally not a Veritech with the serial numbers filed off. Nope, not at all.
You know what's funny? I'd still rather have a Veritech.
Oh, I would rather if my choice is between that and Roy Falker's Veritech, I'm going for Roy's.
Yeah,
like that.
Although it's an actual fight between a Veritech and the Kshatriya.
I can see that.
Anyway, we should talk about Ensign Riddy. Ensign Riddy.
Oh, he's a fascinating character.
Ensign Riddy Marcenas. So Riddy he's a pilot with the Earth Federation. He ends up getting caught up in all of this, largely through happenstance. He saves Audrey, totally not Minerva Zabi, from getting spaced at one point with his suit. It's, and he develops he really wants to be more than just friends with her. She's not interested.
He kind of comes on a little bit.
Oh, he does, absolutely.
Like, you can tell, he comes on exactly as he appears to be. He's a sheltered political kid.
Yeah. Turns out that he is actually part of an old political dynasty.
Really old.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's like put this. His full name is it Riddy Marcenas? Yeah. Ricardo Marcenas, his great granddad. Yeah, he was the president that got blown up in the opening scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's old politics.
Yep.
And pretty much everyone but him has gone into the family business. It is expected he will eventually go into the family business once he gets this whole piloting mobile suits out of his.
Yeah,
system.
he's doing what a lot of political and royalty kids do. They're
Yeah.
they're doing their tour of service in the military and making a name for themselves, so they're more believable when they come out of it.
Yep.
That's it. He's an actual legit good pilot.
He's a good pilot.
He's a very good pilot, and he's.
But a lot of the reasonings that he takes a shine to Audrey, and like he starts like saying he's going to protect her and look after her, and then suddenly he's considering political marriage so that he can keep her in his father's estate and she'll be safe. And it's like, dude,
he comes on very strong, and it's very much but I'm attractive, skilled, and rich. Why wouldn't you want to? What? This has never happened before. I need to process this.
I mean, this is the first time I've ever had to ask a girl,
Now, for all of his failings, and he's got some, he is actually a good guy. He just tends to fall into his own little pit of obsession and insecurities.
Yeah.
Pretty heavily. Helped along by a psycho friend that is reflecting that shit back at him.
Well, that's not till later, but yes. Yeah.
That is after he has a bit of a breakdown.
Yeah.
A little bit.
His biggest failing, honestly, before all that happens, is legitimately his cynicism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what largely that is most part of what drives Minerva away from him. Is she has an optimistic goal she is aiming for, something she wants to do, and he's too much of a cynic to actually get behind it.
And you can hardly blame him. He's spent his entire life behind the mask.
Oh yeah, I understand why.
He's seen the blood that oils the gears. He's lived in it.
So is she, though, is the thing.
Yeah, and that's why she's awesome and he's only okay.
Yes. But yeah, it's and that's why he kind of freaks out when the guy she ends up working sticking with is Boninger, who is also someone who's striving for something better.
It's also just some orphan kid from some shithole colony. Oh wait, he's actually the inheritor of the Vist Foundation, but they'll never admit it.
Yeah. Also, the other. I mean, Rita is just shy of being an actual sort of classic tragic hero in a lot of ways. And that he's a good man who is crippled by a tragic flaw. Instead, he survives.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Riddy's biggest problem is that there's another protagonist in this show.
Well, and also, he's a cynic. Yeah. And that actually really hampers him.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be a great protagonist in any other show. But, you've got Captain Zinnerman sitting right there. I'm sorry, I really like Captain Zinnerman. He's my favorite character.
I mean, this is a show with that realistically has deuteragonists, honestly, in Boninger and Minerva.
Yeah.
Boninger has more screen time, but Minerva is actually just as important. If not more. Actually, she's more important.
She's more important. Yeah.
She's more important. He's in the mobile suit. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets the action scene. She does the actual work.
She has more agency.
Yeah. Which, again, is unusual for a lot of princess characters in these types of shows.
Oh, yeah. Again,
not just Gundam. I'm saying, this kind of, big sweeping show. The princess character generally doesn't have a lot of agency.
No.
Except for Leia and Minerva.
There are probably a couple other examples we're not thinking of off the top of our head, but, And if you've got suggestions for those, please, if you're watching on YouTube, throw them in the comments. If you're watching us live, throw them in chat.
I'd actually be. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'd love to see what people have to say about that. That'd be great.
Gundam does often fall into the trap of the princess being there purely as a motivational tool for the the protag.
I mean, I love 8th MS Team, but what's her fuck was pretty much that. Yes.
Yeah, and even Iron Blooded Orphans.
Yeah. She has more agency.
She was great in season 1.
Yeah, season 2 less so.
In season 2, she's window dressing.
Yeah,
that was one of my complaints about season 2, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
It's like, but she's awesome. Why is she? Oh, she.
Yep. But like even with this one, yes, she does serve that purpose. She is a major driving factor for at least to get Banner into the actual fight.
Yeah, for both Banner and Riddy.
But the difference is that once that's happened, she keeps doing things.
Yeah.
There are other things to do, and she does them.
She for all of like Banner and Full Frontal having their fights, Full Frontal's real foil is Minerva.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like she's the one that can like deal with him.
I am
anywhere
actually
off the battlefield.
Yes, I am actually really amused as well. Like you said earlier, the number of people that keep like trying to hold Minerva hostage.
Yeah.
Like, do you know who you're dealing with here? He has no fucking. It's fucking Char, and you think you have a bargaining chip with a fucking zombie.
Thing, like having seen like the 3 movies and Char's counterattack recently. This guy is so much more nihilistic than the original.
Oh, and they point that out.
Yeah,
that's her big point. She's like, you are not Char.
He comes right out and says to Banner at one point, "I have completely emptied myself of anything human to become the avatar of Neo Zeon. What can you do against that? What can you say to me to convince me I'm wrong? Is nothing but the avatar of the will of Neo Zeon here."
And he's right. There's nothing you can say to him. But boy howdy, he's wrong. As Minerva basically says right to his fucking face. I love that.
You're not Char.
he gives this huge grandiose speech, and Bandai's just like, and Minerva's like, "You are full of shit.
You nihilistic fuck. Char had fucking passion. You have nothing."
Yeah. Char believed in things. Char was going to blow up the Earth because he believed in a human space evolution that much. What do you got, asshole?
Like, for all of Char's faults, like, he actually believed in what he was fighting for.
Yeah, he had a reason to do what he did.
Like, oh my god. I love that moment. I'm just like, oh my god, Minerva, you are so goddamn awesome. Who the fuck you think you are?
Without that stupid mask.
Also, dear Lord, your hair looks dumb.
Yeah, Full Front. Here's the thing: Full Frontal's fully aware that he's a dirt cheap Xerox of the original.
Oh yeah, he is. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
and he kind of embraces it, honestly. And I'm like, cool, go for it, man. If that's what you want to be, go for it. You want to be a dirt cheap Xerox of Char Ansible, go for it. See what you can do with it.
Yeah, Ash in the chat points out it's kind of neat that the series has sort of a big knights in armor aesthetic, complete with a knight versus a fucking dragon at one point. It's the one where the princess has the most agency. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. Yeah, it's a good. It's really clever. There's a lot of Minerva is. I love Zimmerman. Minerva's my favorite character. But I get why you love.
I don't blame you. Minerva is great.
Yeah, I don't blame you for loving Zimmerman that much. Like, he's also fantastic. They are particularly the 2 best characters in the show.
Yeah, I would agree.
Actually,
I also really like Murda Cruz. Like,
Marina's great.
Yeah.
But I will fully admit that's because she pilots the best mobile suit. So.
I think Marina's on a sort of complicated character level with Rita, actually.
Yeah. You see, with me though, they are great characters. I don't know what it is the way my brain works though. Is I always get attached to the background characters.
Oh sure.
That don't do a lot because they don't have a lot of lines to develop and be interesting characters and all the rest of it, but still catch your eye or still stand out.
Sure.
Like the crew of Nahelagama.
Oh, the first officer.
The second in command.
Amazing.
The first officer is amazing.
She is fantastic.
Great.
The looks she throws the captain are fucking priceless.
One of the things I love about her is she's a female character in an anime that is not conventionally attractive.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah.
She has very blocky features. This isn't to say she's not well designed at all. She has a great design.
Absolutely.
She's very memorable, and
she has some of the best facial expressions.
Yeah, and she's great. Like,
She
if
is.
we're talking background characters, it's her.
She is. It is very clear she is probably brighter than the captain.
Oh, she's absolutely not
And-
not probably absolutely
Yeah,
is.
I'm being diplomatic to the captain. The thing is,
fair,
Captain's not an idiot.
No, he's not
He
an
does
idiot. But
learn.
well, the big thing is
He-
it's very clear the captain respects her opinion and actually, he's like, yeah, no, she's probably smarter than
Yeah.
I am.
He leans on her quite a bit
Yeah.
because
And
he
he's-
recognizes the talent involved.
He's not as good a strategist or technician as she is. He is a better reader of people, though, from what I can see.
Yeah, and from what I could tell, he's actually a lot like there are a few things where like shit's going on, and he's like, "Well, we're gonna have to do this because that's what's gonna happen." And she's like, "Oh shit, you're right."
It's like, fuck, I forget he does that sometimes. It's like, I instinctively want to say, but captain, but no, he's right. Shit.
The thing that it comes across as is that the captain is the part of the Londo Bell organization, the military organization, and other than a few like border skirmishes and a few problems with Neo Zeon, and mercenaries, it's mostly quiet.
Yep.
So he does his job. He flies his battleship. No one really messes with him because he's one of the largest battleships in the system. He does the patrols and follows orders and does well. So he doesn't really take the initiative a lot. And his second in command is when she steps in and says, "No, sir, that's fucking stupid." But as the show goes on, because they end up independent, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
He kind of stands up on his own 2 feet, and actually, that's like it's towards the end of the show where he becomes that captain figure, and the second is then like, agreeing with him and saying, "Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good plan.
Well,
I'll do this."
As soon as he ends up like stuck in a political situation, he's the one to go to. He's the one making decisions. He's the one that sees what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was the one that during like the whole standoff with the Marine holding Minerva a hostage from Full Frontal was like, "This is dumb. It's not going to work. He doesn't care." I can't say that. It's written all again. Animation is great. You can tell everyone exactly what everyone's thinking by looking at their face. They don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
The captain's face during that whole exchange is, "This is dumb. This isn't going to work. He's going to shoot at us."
That's another thing I will point out. I mean, Peter, sorry, my memory's just gone. You mentioned it a moment ago with the second in command. The work yes, the character design, the work they do on the facials, especially.
Yep.
Yes.
Like there is so much like expression given away.
Yep.
And no more is this so like fucking blows my mind how they did it. Captain Bright Noah.
Yes. Oh my
God. The original Mobile Suit Gundam is in this show. He's 20 odd years older at this point. He's now a captain rather than a lieutenant or whatever he was when he first showed up. But he first shows up behind his desk and he looks like he's been pulled directly out of the 70s show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His character design really hasn't changed much, if at all.
Yeah. Like down to the like animation errors they do where the eyes are the same color as the skin because they've just blocked it out.
And here's the thing, like, yeah, they basically lifted that design straight out of 79 and just plopped it there. He's still amazingly well animated.
Oh,
his
yeah.
expressions is still like his facial expressions is still like
they're among the best in the show.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Like his looks of, "Oh, for fuck's sake, you idiots."
The degree of disdain at what's her face?
Rebecca?
Foundation.
Yeah.
The degree of disdain he glares at her.
He's like,
Like,
"Oh, you piece of shit."
It's 5 lines in an oval, and the manner of disdain they managed to convey through there, it's amazing.
Like I said, at one point his face is literally just a peach blob with 2 dots for their eyes, and he gives a little side-eye glance to his crew members, and all of a sudden these Men in Black types are like wheeled off to one side while he has a conversation with their prisoner they wanted to have a chat with. It's like, what?
Seriously, like that. Gav's right. Like that's how you know it's good animation. They have 5 lines in an oval, and they can convey like the degree of hostility and disdain.
Martha.
Barely contained contempt.
Yeah.
It was Martha Visit Carbine.
That's her. Yes.
Yeah.
Aunt Martha, right.
Aunt Martha.
Oh my god. Wow.
What a
By the way,
bitch.
she is a great great villain.
She's a great villain. She's an utter bitch. She is as complicated as a brick.
And boy,
Yeah,
howdy,
she's
she's yet another one of the people who completely misreads Minerva. It's beautiful.
Yes.
She's Cruella de Vil. That's how complicated.
Yes.
She's the political villain.
And
she's part of the Vist family, the same as Banaja
and Alberto, who
yeah.
I ended up actually really like Alberto. But...
he turns out to be a more nuanced character than he seems like he is at first, because the show is well written.
Well, when we first meet Alberto, he's just this like arrogant, idiotic git of a corporate stooge. Like he's there to like drive forth his own the interests of his organization and nothing else. He's kind of an idiot about it.
Yep.
But as the show progresses, you end up seeing, like, no, this guy is actually fundamentally a coward and has a huge heart, but is terrified of exposing it because he's a huge fucking coward.
Also, he's grown up. He's also grown up with his Aunt Martha, who is a manipulative psychopath.
Yes, and eventually he ends up growing enough of balls to tell off his aunt.
Yeah,
which is probably the greatest act of courage anyone in the show has.
You basically realize that towards the end that all the stupidity and dumbfuckery that was happening at the start was his desperate need to please Aunt Martha.
Yes.
And follow her
I've
orders.
been drinking scotch this entire time. I might be a little drunk.
He's getting passionate. He's getting that Scotch courage.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, Aunt Martha is just a horrible bitch and a great villain and not at all complicated in a show filled with really interesting, complicated characters.
But it actually works though, is the thing.
Yeah, she doesn't need to be. She serves exactly the purpose she needs to.
Well,
and
the
you're not
best part
supposed
is
to like her,
you're right, Eric. She is as uncomplicated as a brick, but she is literally the brick that is thrown through the plate glass window that is the actual sort of stalemate that's going on for the plot. She's the brick the story needed at that moment. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. She serves her purpose beautifully.
Just boom. Oh, okay then. But so
yeah, she's Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, the arc at this point is the MacGuffin hunt, right? So it turns out that the unicorn is largely needed to find Laplace's box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Vist Foundation has basically had this box in its possession for since
100 years more.
100 years near enough, yeah. And it's been passed down. The secret's been passed down generation, supposedly. And it got to Cardias Vist, who is Banner's father.
Yep.
And Martha's brother.
Yeah. I should point out that Cardias Vist is very much an absentee father. He didn't know Banner existed until he got into high school. And has been quietly supporting him, but not actually being a dad.
Yeah.
But we found out that the Vist Foundation is one of those political families that like to make sure their connections are strong where they're needed. So, for example, the reason that Martha, her surname is Vist Carbine, is because she married into a family, the Carbine family, who are basically the founders of Anaheim Electronics. You know, the one that builds all the Gundams.
And Zaku's. And they build mobile suits, and they really aren't too picky about who they sell them to.
Yeah. And yeah, it turns out they through various connections and links and everything else, they've had the unicorn built, and it's basically got a system inside which is it's disguised, which is what was mentioned earlier. It's a psycho frame designed to hunt down other new types and take them out. Also happens to be a psychic resonance system that is, it follows the breadcrumbs to where Laplace's box is.
Yep.
And it only works on people from the Vist family. It only works in their brain for waves, and only on the one that it's imprinted upon. Like the degree of biometric encryption on the unicorn is astounding.
Yeah.
It's like Shinji and Ava 1, except, not stupid.
There is a little bit of Banner getting the robot to start off with, but eventually he gets there.
Well, no, it lasts as long as Banner, shove, you're in the robot. Bye.
Slug, Banjo, get in the robot. I don't want to. Banjo, we're all going to die. Oh, I should get in the robot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, and I brought this up, and and I understand why. Not mistaken. I'm not saying I'm wrong, but maybe nitpicking a little bit. Banner is one of those odd protagonists. He starts doing this whole thing about how he's all gung ho and he has to take action, and war is bad, and we have to go down and stop this, and we let me pilot my suit. I need to get involved in this, and I need to put a stop to this. Fine, gets in the suit, goes down. War's bad. I can't fight. Oh, for fuck's sake, manager.
I mean, to his credit, he gets in the suit so he's got a decent bargaining chip to try to negotiate with people. So he's pretty slow to learn that sometimes people won't fucking negotiate.
Yeah. Also, a lot of his freeze-ups happen when he's confronting another new type who is in distress.
Yes.
Or someone riding the dark side of a psycho frame.
Right. He's like, no, I can help them. I can help them. The Unicorn will let me help them. They're not letting me help them.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not. They're really not interested in being helped.
Yeah, like the big example I'm thinking of is the Neo Zeon remnant on not even Neo Zeon, Zeon remnant on Earth in the mobile armor and which is the psycho frame, and great character that shows up for all of an episode. Very much tied up into her whole fighting the good fight for that her parents fought and died for, and riding the bad side of a psycho frame, because here's the problem with psycho frames. This was established way back in Gundam 1, I think, or Char's Counter. I don't remember. Anyway, it's a long part of Gundam lore. Psycho frame lets you control your suit that much more efficiently. It's a really good thing. The problem is it's kind of like an acid trip. You take into it what you bring with you. If you're in a bad mood, you're gonna have a bad trip.
Yeah,
it's like the force test that Yoda puts Luke through.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like going into your own personal echo chamber, except it's all dubstep. I hate dubstep.
I actually kind of like some dubstep. I'll admit it.
But yeah,
I'm also the guy that listens to.
Okay, Eric. Okay, fine. It's your own personal echo chamber with nothing but country.
You see, there's the problem.
No, it's not just country. It's not just country. It's also American folk music.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Why do you guys hate me so much?
Or that one song by R.E.M.
No.
I'm not going to say what it is, but I don't want people to torment Eric with it.
I will absolutely start singing it if I know which one it is.
Exactly, that's why I'm not saying.
Why you're not allowed to know. For the exact same reason no one will let me have a giant robot, you're not allowed to know that information.
Yeah. At any rate, and you're just moving along. So yeah, basically, Benisher is basically following the breadcrumb trail that has been left for the Unicorn to lead him to the box so that it can unlock it. Now, the Visit Foundation decided at some point they were going to give the box to Neo Zeon for reasons. We find out later what reasons are, and legit, honestly.
Good reasons, honestly.
Yeah,
they are good reasons. The problem is Full Frontal's in charge.
See, there's that problem, yeah.
Problem is Full Frontal is Char Ansible minus all of Char's convictions and passions.
Yeah.
So he's
Char
like,
probably could have handled the box at least.
Char.
Basically, the idea
Char would have
is
handled the box better, but more ruthlessly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They're gonna hand it over. They're gonna, like I said, without revealing it at this point, it is something potentially that could take down the Federation. That is all anyone knows. And the plan was to hand it over to Neo Zeon.
Which
has the Federation going, what the fuck?
Yeah. But then, from the impression that I get, when Full Frontal is basically the leader, the one in charge, and it kind of becomes evident that his entire plan is to use it as a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
And like just try and hold it over people and basically blackmail the system, the solar system. They're like, maybe not. Let's do this thing where you've got to earn it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with Minerva. Like, she was going to be the front man for this, and she is like, Char is the one actually in not Char.
Full Frontal.
Full Frontal is the one actually in charge. He is not Char Ansible. I know.
I'm gonna try to convince Vince not to give it over to him because it's a bad idea. Fuck, everything's going wrong. But yeah, so the long and short of it is, it's not so much that that was sort of always the plan. It was, whoa, here's the key to the box. Great. How do we use it? Well, you got to figure out how to use it. What?
Well, fine. Okay.
If you can prove that you can if you can prove that you can unlock the box, you can use the key, then you can have the box.
Yeah. That proves that you're actually responsible enough to actually use it. And there is a thing we haven't really mentioned. This is the thing about a Gundam show. We haven't really talked about the Gundams themselves.
Yeah, they're not.
Except for how much I love the Couch Race.
There's a lot. There are a bunch of good Gundam fights like that.
The battle at Torrington is probably one of the best Gundam fights.
Which one is the battle at Torrington?
The mobile armor.
Right. Yeah,
with the Xeon suits, the aquatic suits.
Yeah, with some great classic like Xeon suits animated well because they have a budget and it's 2010, whenever this got made.
But the important part
against new like Federation top of the line shit, and it's kind of awesome.
The important thing though to mention just about the Unicorn, and it's only a minor thing but it does play into this whole Laplace box thing. The system that it uses, like I said, it's referred to as destroy mode. Basically, it expands its armor out, the psycho frame is revealed, and it glows red like it's doing there in the title card.
Yeah. You see the face open up, so instead of having the closed more like Zaku type face, it's or Sananju, I guess.
Optimus Prime.
I know too much about fucking Gunpla. It's got a closed more like what's the word I'm looking for? It's got more of a knight's face, honestly.
Yeah, it is a knight. Yeah, with a huge long unicorn horn.
With a horn. The horn splits open. It opens up like you see in there. It's got red glowy bits.
Yeah. And
not a bad look. It's just not as cool as it is before it deploys the psycho frame.
Yeah, but the reason I bring it up is because about halfway through, during a particularly tense moment, when they're trying to escape from Earth, the psycho frame changes color.
Yeah, turns blue.
Green.
You're right.
And suddenly the destroy mode starts glowing green. And Banner references when this starts happening, because this is when the space magic starts to kick in.
Yep.
Right. It's fairly subtle space magic, though. I'm okay with it.
Space magic, and this is why I bring it up, because it's a fairly subtle thing. But he makes reference that he can feel everyone's warmth.
Yep.
Basically tapping into their
having
their
recently watched Char's counterattack is a reference to the end of Char's counterattack.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, that's space magic I can understand. That's basically just a bunch of people in the general vicinity. It's space, so it's a very big vicinity. Being psychically linked.
The reason I bring that up though is, and this is jumping to the end a little bit, and this is the whole point of the puzzle of the key, and whether you're able to work it out, whether you're able to do it. They make a point later on that Full Frontal has no concept of this warmth.
Yeah.
He's a new type, a cyber new type, but you could have given him the Gundam Unicorn from the start, he would have never got it.
And yeah, this is because Full Frontal comes right out and says it. He's hollowed himself out. Whatever was left of Char or who he was beforehand, he's gutted it to better be a better avatar of what he thinks Neo Zeon should be.
Which is exactly what disqualifies him from, from possession of the box.
Exactly. Yes.
It's like, this is why we changed the rules. You're a nutter.
Okay, so just as a brief aside, I mentioned I recently rewatched Char's Counterattack. First time I watched it since I was in high school. One, fucking Quest is a little brat and I hate her. Two, just it goes a long way to showing that it mentions Amuro has visions of Lala, who is a character from 79 who dies and is probably the most advanced new type that is encountered. She mentions Char is pure over and over again. Because Char is pure. He's not pure good. He's not pure good, evil. He is very much in the moment.
Yep.
And that's something that is completely lacking in Full Frontal. He has no purity to him.
Yeah.
Except for maybe nihilism. And even then, it's not even the good kind of nihilism where the lack of meaning frees you. It's the lack of meaning drives you to nothing.
Honestly, Full Frontal's kind of like a fanfic version of Char.
Yes.
He's lacking all the drive, and it just has all the, the baseline badass elements.
He's bad fanfic of Char. He's fanfic written by someone who doesn't get the point. And I think that's actually kind of brilliant now that I think about it.
Somewhere in Japan, a writer just went, "Holy shit, they got it!"
So yeah,
he's Char that got stuck on 90s nihilist grunge.
Yeah, man, nothing matters at all, man.
Cool, that means everything matters.
No, nothing matters, so nothing matters.
Sometimes I forget I'm not a nihilist, I'm an absurdist.
Yes. But yeah, so anyways. So we're basically following, the Unicorn going through, we're following, Boninger and the Unicorn moving between various ships and sides as he's basically being drug along the path of various important sort of things that have happened in the history of the Federation and the 1 Year War and all this stuff, to eventually lead him back to the visit family home in the Snail.
Yep.
Where we started.
It was here all along. It's like, assholes.
The box was not in another castle. It was here all along. We decided to set out a little circle, Jordan, so you could figure out. So we could figure out if you're actually, So if the Unicorn could figure out if you're one of the people we should give the box to, and guess what, Boninger, Minerva, you two deserve it. What do you want to do with the box? Well, what's in the box? Here's what's in the box. Oh fuck.
So the box is in fact the original monument that the original articles of the Earth Federation were carved.
Yeah.
Signed by every dignitary that signed onto it. As Minerva says, this carries the signatures of every world leader at the time. It carries the weight of law.
Mm-hmm. And it's got a passage that's not on the monument back on Earth. Kind of an important little passage.
This very important passage says that should a space-adapted form of humans evolve, then the Earth Federation government will make every effort to include them in the government and administration of the human race.
So you know how
this is not in the articles as the Federation recognizes them.
That entire entry is not there. There's a huge blank space at the bottom. But you know how the entire Universal Century has been about they refer to themselves as the space noids, as space living humans wanting independence and a seat at the table, and the Federation is saying, "Nah,
Yeah.
yeah."
Yeah, and here's the thing: Riddy actually points out is like, yeah, no, this probably could have been taken care of and handled civilly if the Federation hadn't covered it up.
Yep.
Yeah. So the whole thing about the Marcanus family colony thing got blown up by terrorists. Yeah, that was the Visit Foundation doing that because that would have been inconvenient for them at the time.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even the Visit Foundation. It was
No.
literally like terrorists who didn't want it, and one of them was like, "Holy shit, this is really going to be valuable. My name happens to be so and so Visit."
Right. Fair enough. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
The founder of the Visit Foundation was one of the terrorists.
Yes.
Who has over the years kept himself alive and realized, this could be problematic. I'm not sure what to do with this, and I am too connected to the original thing. I'm not the person to decide what to do with it. I have to find the right person to do that.
He's basically
what being 120 years will do for you.
Yeah.
He's basically sat in the background and orchestrated almost everything.
Except for the 1 year war in Neo Zeon.
He did not see that coming, and he was like, that's bad.
Yeah. Even Zeon Daikon and his whole new type thing, he was like, looked at that one. That's new. That's
the thing.
Shit, what do I do about that?
That's the thing. They preempted the whole thing. Was they preempted the possible arrival of some sort of human evolution living in space.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't actually know what form that was going to take. He didn't see any of it coming.
Right.
And then when it did in the 1 year war in 079,
oh boy, this is a problem. And then the reason he wanted
completely out of my control.
He kept sitting on it, and his motivation to start doing things was the announcement that the Principality of Zeon was going to be dismantled in 4 years. He's like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
But that's going to lead to a lot of bad shit. Right. Maybe I should see if Neo Zeon should be the ones to open the box then. Yeah, guys, I'll give you the key. Let's find out if they can open the box.
It should be noted at this point that the Principality of Zeon is largely a Federation puppet state.
Yes.
Because they lost the 1 year war and a lot of other shit. So they've managed to negotiate for them to, at least on paper, be independent, but they're a puppet state.
Right. But that's still better than being dissolved.
Yeah.
Which will lead to a lot of space noise going, well, this whole Neo Zeon thing seems like a good idea. Yeah. So, yeah, that was his motivation for actually starting getting things actually moving. And so he basically says, okay, Minerva, Bannister, what the fuck do you want to do with this? Because I don't know what the right thing is to do. I am not the person to do this. It should be the youth, the people who are going to be living with this going forward to decide what to do with it.
Yeah,
and Bannister's like,
maybe 6 months. I've been in the bed for the past 20 years.
And Bannister's like, we should tell everybody and see what we can do to make things better. And Minerva's like, yeah, you're probably right. It's like that's problematic.
Minerva's first thought is this is going to be a major political fallout. It's going to cause a lot of strife. Fuck Bannister, I think you're probably right in the long run.
Yeah,
short term it's going to be bad. Long run it's probably the right move.
Yeah, she even says, look, even if and when we reveal this, there are going to be those that reject it, and there's going to be the hardliners that will fight back against this. But yeah, you are probably right. And while this discussion's going on, Full Frontal shows up and tries to weigh in and throw his
It should be noted Full Frontal has a gun and is like, motherfuckers, I am taking this. I'm going to use it for a bargaining chip to make sure I get my Earth exclusive Prosperity Zone constructed, because that's Full Frontal's whole plan.
Yeah, his plan is basically unite the space people, and it just basically, fuck it, we're done trying to like work with Earth. We're just going to ignore them, and they can't support themselves, so fuck it. They need us more than we need them.
Yeah, to be fair, Full Frontal's not wrong. When the seat of power ignores you, but you hold all the power. This is my Marxism coming through.
What? No.
See, when the seat of power ignores your needs and wants, but you hold all the power, all the actual production. You can just ignore them.
Yeah, they're absolutely right. And then Punisher and Minerva point out, yeah, but what about all the regular citizens back on Earth? The who?
Yeah. What happens when Earth rises up and in their desperate attempts and attacks us, and then they're the terrorists doing the shit that you're doing now? It's like you're doing this.
You're perpetuating the cycle. You're not actually breaking the cycle, dude.
You're not solving the problem.
You're keeping the status quo, just reversing who's on top.
Places. Yeah, you're swapping places. You're not solving the problem.
It's like they come. He comes out. He's saying, so like Cyan Vist says to him, what would you do? He says, I'd use it to benefit all of Neo Zeong and all of the Space Noids. Why? What's different, Banagher? What would you do? I'd use it to help everyone, you dick. Yeah, but what it's almost like Frontal can't get it through his head. It's like, wait, but where's the advantage in that? No, just fucking help everyone.
Well, to be fair, Char Ansel would be like, well, I would give them the opportunity to emigrate from Earth to space. If they didn't, fuck them.
Right. Well, again, he is a better man than Frontal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, Duwadi is correct. We had brought this up. The universe in which Full Frontal wins is G Gundam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's also kind of reminiscent of the way Gjallarhorn formed as well in.
So it's the opposite direction. That's the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like an independent organization basically takes over ruling everything for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But yeah.
Oh, Ash brings up a really good point. The principality is basically a series of slums at the point. They don't shy away from the fact that a lot of people living in them are not white and don't go there voluntarily. That's, yeah.
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 Yeah. Wait, you're saying the Gundam series is political? The deuce you say!
I'm shocked.
Keep politics out of my anime!
By the way, I liked Rage Against the Machine until they got all political.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, if you are complaining about Gundam being political, you're watching the wrong goddamn series. Even fucking G Gundam is political. Fuck you.
Yeah. There's very little, the politics are blazoned bright on their sleeve and flashing in neon over their heads.
Yes.
Like, legitimately, I think fucking Build Fighters is the only one without politics, but it does have a Gunpla Mafia.
No, it's got politics too. It's just, much smaller scale.
Yes.
That's a Gunpla Mafia.
Yeah.
That is both the best and worst thing ever.
I know. At any rate, so yeah. And this is where we reveal that, he's got Char has taken his Sinanju and plugged it into a mobile frame.
Mobile armor, yeah.
Mobile armor.
Not mobile armor.
The Neo Zeong, the most wasteful piece of shit in history. It looks impressive. It does nothing.
It's got laser fingers. I will say this: it's got fucking laser fingers.
And it's capable of using its psychoframe to take over other Gundam.
Yes.
And basically at this point, Butter goes off.
The show's had more endings than Lord of the Rings, and it still has 2 more endings to go.
Yeah. So Butter and
we haven't even. Sorry,
we have not touched on the Banshee. You're right.
Yeah, the Banshee. Right. We haven't even mentioned the Banshee, which is basically Black Unicorn.
It's Black Unicorn being sent out to. It is the evil unicorn, basically.
It is the over-designed evil unicorn.
Yeah.
It's got too much extra shit on it.
Long story short.
To be fair, though, this is the show where the full armor unicorn is basically strap as many guns to it as you can. Don't actually use them, but discard them at various points to make it look like you're trying.
To be fair, it uses the shield with the Gatling cannon pretty often.
The Gatling shields, they're one of the main parts of it. I'm just not a fan of the full armor unicorn.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, the Banshee, the main thing about the Banshee is that this is what we mentioned about Riddy. He gets stuck in his own little echo chamber of self-doubt and obsession. Thanks to the Banshee, because he gets to pilot it to go after the Unicorn. And he's there full of jealousy and resentment towards Banagher, which is magnified over and over to the point where he's not even really aware of anything else that's going on around him. He just wants to get the Unicorn.
Yeah. The Banshee was a frame developed in parallel and totally not stealing from the unicorn.
Well, it is designed to fulfill the unicorn's stated purpose, which is to hunt new types. The Banshee's actually designed to hunt new types.
Yes. They jam Merida in there after they capture her and do some terrible psycho reconditioning on her.
Because Martha's a piece of shit.
Yeah, and because that poor girl hasn't been through enough shit. They eventually get her out. Not before that, like 2 fights with the unicorn where she wins. Like Banninger has to withdraw, partially because he's trying to like get through to her.
Yeah, he's not trying to beat her, is the thing.
Yeah,
but that even that's not working, and she is a better pilot than he is because she's got more experience.
Yeah. It basically takes Zimmerman like being there and realizing that she's in the suit, calling out to her and saying, "Please don't leave me alone." And holy shit, that's a great scene.
It's a really good scene. No, honestly, Merida, like that competition between Merida and Banninger in front of Zimmerman is actually really well done, and you can see, not even just like the voice acting, but the voice acting is great in it. Like the pain on like both Banninger and Merida and Zimmerman's faces during that, it's just like, oh my god.
Again, like 7 lines in an oval.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well done. But yeah, then Riddick gets it because, like, you know, well, he's got a hate on for new types currently.
Yeah, he's got a hate on. He's lived most of his life in space. He might be close enough to a new type that we can make it work. And if he can't, well, it's a psycho frame. It'll force him to do it eventually.
Yeah. So he goes out and basically he has big fight with
Banninger.
With Banninger
and the unicorn.
And eventually, like, yeah, Banninger, we need you to use the unicorn to force our way through to where we're going. Meridia's like, okay, I'll take the hastily repaired Kshatriya out and buy him time. And Banninger's like, but are you okay? And she's like, doesn't matter, it needs to be done.
But it doesn't matter because we'll all die otherwise.
Zimmerman's like, but are you okay? She's like, if I don't, we're all gonna die. And he's like, fuck.
But here's the thing, like, there's a great moment where like Banninger like looks to Zimmerman for support to say she should stay behind, and he looks at her and she looks at him. He's like, do your best.
Yeah. She and her fight with Riddick is great. She's her the Kshatriya is unfortunately outclassed at this point, especially damaged as it is.
Yeah, it's literally like cobbled together with whatever they had lying around because it's gotten the shit kicked out of it several times.
By the unicorn.
By the unicorn.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
It's a testament to the engineering that it's holding together as well as it is, honestly.
Yes. But she's a better pilot than he is, and she manages to hold her own long enough for Banninger and Minerva to get to the snail.
Yep.
And then she dies, and the show turns to shit.
Doesn't turn to shit, but it loses. It does take a step down. I will agree.
Yeah. I am overstating my yes.
I know. I agree with you mostly, actually, Eric. I'm just sort of saying Eric doesn't actually mean it turns to shit.
It doesn't turn to shit. It's not like we're watching fucking Glass Fleet or anything.
Jesus Christ, no.
But it crawls up its own asshole and goes, "Hey, look at all this space magic." Is the problem?
A little bit, yeah.
So Minerva's Force Ghost starts talking to everybody, and I'm not actually Meridia. Sorry, yeah. Her Force Ghost starts talking to everybody. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah, everyone gets a personal ghostogram from her.
Including people back on fucking Earth.
Yeah. Each with a personalized message of like the exact bit of information that they need to hear that very moment at that very time.
Now, like, I could see, like, because she's a new type, even if she is an artificial one, like...
I can see her with the people she's got...
I can see that happening for, like, Banninger and Minerva and maybe even the other sleeves.
Like, I could see it with the people she's formed actual connections with. Specifically,
and yeah,
Riddick makes sense. Like, honestly, like, yeah, sure, he's right there, and they did have a bond.
Yeah,
Wasn't a good bond,
however
but it was a
contentious
bond.
it might have been. Yeah, and obviously Zinnerman.
Right, yeah.
That's going to happen.
But yeah, most of the rest of the crew of the ship and Alberto back on Earth and everyone else in the room.
She gives.
To be fair, Alberto back on Earth, like, it was clear he cared about her as more than just like a plug-in for the Banshee.
Yep. Oh no, absolutely. But everyone else in the room heard it too.
Yeah.
It was very silly.
Like she pretty much like her presence is pretty much what like gave Alberto the courage to
finally stand up to his
have
aunt.
anything to have 3 vertebrae in his spine as opposed to
instead of the wet noodle that was there before.
Yes.
At any rate, so yeah. So we finally get the big confrontation between the Neo-Zeong, the Unicorn, and the Banshee because Rita's basically gone, fuck, what the hell have I done? Fuck. What can I do?
He wakes up basically.
Wait, I can make things better if I go help. Wait, I'm a fucking fighter pilot. Yeah, I'll go fucking help. Yeah, fuck this. Why is my head lodged up my ass? What the hell?
I have one of the 2 most advanced mobile suits in the fucking universe. So yeah, I can fight this over-designed piece of crap.
Yep.
I will say again, the Neo-Zeong is not a piece of crap. It has laser fingers.
And about 8 arms. So.
And about 8 arms, which are actually kind of fun. Like, the unfolding arm stick was actually kind of fun. I will admit that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
It is an unnecessary homage to 79, but...
Yes. So the situation with the Neo-Zeong is resolved when it grapples the Unicorn and they form a spirit mind link thing and they start traveling through time and space and argue with each other about nihilism.
It starts going all Space 2001.
Oh my god, it is not nearly artistic enough to be 2001. It is not a space odyssey.
Frontal does the whole like, here we are at the end of time where there's nothing and all of the universe has collapsed into itself and the stars have burned out. This
so
is
nothing matters.
You still want to fight. Nothing matters. Well, yeah, dude. At long enough timeline, everyone's survival rate drops to 0. I've read Fight Club too. Yeah. So what?
Yeah, but
in billions and billions of years, nothing will exist, and even time itself will stop. It's like, all right.
What does that matter back then?
Do I get the next 60 years with my girlfriend?
How about like, any kids I might end up having and their kids?
How about just making things not stuck for people now, all of whom are also equally as valid as you and me?
What?
Like the thing is, right, by doing this, he invalidates his own point as well.
Oh yeah.
Why is he trying to do anything?
What you mean? What you mean? Full Frontal's a hypocrite, Gav? The deuce you say?
I mean, to be fair, so was Char.
Yeah, well.
I mean, Char is very passionate, but is also very much a hypocrite.
Oh my god, yes. So yeah, that's where and Minerva's in the meantime reading basically broadcasting to Earth and everywhere because the Visit Foundation has set this up ahead of time so that someone could broadcast information to Earth from there. By basically, we've infiltrated everything, so we can just hack the communication networks. That makes more sense than the space magic.
Yeah.
And like everyone back on Earth is like, what the fuck? Oh god, we have to shut her up now. Well, we were planning on blowing this up anyways, so yeah, time to blow it up.
We'll fire the colony-sized space laser at it.
By the way, this is where Alberto's like, wait, what? You're gonna blow up? You're going to destroy the entire place and everyone there. Eggs, omelets.
Except there will be no eggs. There will be no omelets. That whole place will be more space debris.
Yes, but the Federation is the omelet I'm talking about. And we're destroying a few eggs to make keep the omelet from being poisoned. Meanwhile, Bright is starting to look like I want to slap every single one of you motherfuckers.
Yeah, Bright.
There are too many faces here to slap all at once.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Bright is showing up with his battle cruiser, deployed his mobile suits, taking control of Cheyenne Mountain, which is where they are, which is the control center for the giant space laser. Walked in and gone, "You are all idiots," like a fucking boss.
Unfortunately, he's unable to stop them from pushing the button.
Yeah. Well, he gives the president, who is Riddy's father,
Yep.
the option. It's like, dude, don't do this. Like, you don't have to do this.
Yes, if you do this, I will be an enemy of the Federation. You know that, right? And he's like, "You're bluffing." And the look,
and
the
like,
look on Bright's face.
Again, 70s design, 3 lines in an oval, the contempt on his face.
It's like, "Oh, you think I bluff?" Okay, then.
Dude, up face down, Char Enzel at the height of his power. Fuck you.
See, I can't stop you from pushing the button. I can't. You're right. But it will be the biggest mistake you will ever fucking make. Push the button.
Yeah. By the way, your son's out there. What?
Alberto goes, "Dude, but we put Riddy in the Banshee. But I just pushed the button. Why did you say that 15 minutes ago?"
I didn't think you'd actually push the button. I thought you were smarter than that. And Bright's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, you are all idiots. Every single one of you." The contempt on his face as he turns and leaves the room is just the best. Just like, I hate everybody here. All of you, I hate you. Just go die in a fire
He
somewhere.
doesn't leave the room. He stays in the room long enough to arrest Martha.
That's right, yes. Right, you're under arrest. Come with me. I can't arrest you. But you're a civilian. You're not actually supposed to be here. And we have questions.
Yeah, he never says he's going to arrest him, but it's like, yeah, we'd like to ask you a few questions.
In that
Come
way that
with
police
us.
will do when they mean, we're arresting you without arresting you.
Yeah. Yeah. So Space Laser being fired at the colony. So Bonniger and Ridday basically use their psychoframes to create force fields to stop the laser, and it doesn't work. It only sort of works. It doesn't work for the first few layers of shielding, but they are able to. They were able to channel the energy of everyone around. Banniger basically goes, and unleashes the spirit bomb at this point.
I really like this series, but the space magic is too much for me. I'm sorry.
I was not fond of the ending. This part, I was fond of the ending in the bits where Minerva's reading out the riot act to the Federation. I loved that bit.
The Federation and Neo Zeon.
Yeah,
and basically just going, "You are all idiots. Look, this is what we've got here. This is the future I'm trying to build. Get on board, assholes."
Honestly, I've seen less believable things in Gundam. Like, you've seen a million times where, like, what was it, Gundam X or Double X? Somebody fires a huge rail cannon mega laser at something, and this one sole mobile suit with a satellite cannon negates the entire blast with one of its own.
Gav, we've seen less believable things in Gundam. We watched G Gundam.
Yeah.
Where they won through the power, literally won through the power of love.
Yeah,
but that made sense in universe.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like in the more grounded, but the more realistic sort of ones. But yeah, this whole psycho shields are a thing. They were established in previous series. But this whole we're going to stop an interplanetary, like, solar system sized space laser with two mobile suits and a set of shields.
Yeah,
and the goodwill of the universe.
Admittedly, Bonniger's suit goes kind of bonkers and, like, crystalline
crystals.
The psycho frame basically just sprouts out and goes nuts.
And it looks like Banniger might have sacrificed himself to save everybody. Except he didn't. He was just napping.
Yeah, except it's like, just put it back together. Yeah, it's fine.
He eventually wakes up.
The implication is that he was going to ascend, and then Minerva was like, "Dude, get the fuck back here. We have a future to build." And he's like, "Oh, right. We have a future to build.
We have a future to build." Minerva actually cares. Like, Minerva and I are actually a thing, kind of. And there's actually, like, people back there I care about. Right, yeah,
The
right.
bliming will happen later.
The thing that gets me about that whole scene though is that the unicorn is boosting off, in its ascension, and Rid is like, "No, get back here!" Chases after it in the fucking banshee, and it's like he can't catch it; it's just pulling away. And then Minerva reaches out, and Banner wakes up and he's like, "Oh shit, you're right!" Stops, turns around, and sets off just as the banshee gets there. He's like, "What the fuck am I chasing you for?"
Well, it turns out, yeah. I mean, Minerva's like, "No, don't go," and I'm like, "Oh, right, yeah, right, Minerva." Like, all the people I care about that I did all of this to help. I can keep helping them if I don't go ascend.
I love that the expression on Minerva's face and her tone is very much, "Asshole, we have a future to build."
Yeah.
Well, that's because Minerva's great.
I just can't help feel sorry for Riddy. It's like, you ever run for a bus, then realize it's the wrong one, and you have to then pretend that you weren't sprinting for it because otherwise you look dumb.
Yeah, this has been the past 20 years of my life.
But yeah, and the last little bit that happens is so there's a whole bunch of Federation ships that have launched to attack this because we got to stop this from happening. And the unicorn just sort of waves its arm and a wave of psycho energy shuts everything down.
Yeah.
Because space magic.
Yeah.
Because space magic. Fuck you, I got space magic.
Well, that's largely where the show ends, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's pretty much where it ends.
They fly off into space and stuff.
Manager flies back to the snail to hang out with Minerva because.
Well, yeah, I mean, I will say, if I was Banner, yes, she's awesome. Go hang out with her. That is a better plan than ascending into whatever GB.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard work, but
it will be better for everyone in the end.
You've got people who care about you and that you care about. Stick with them as long as you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Gundam Unicorn basically.
Yeah. Oh, and full frontal ascends.
Oh, he ascends.
Lala
and
full frontal ascends largely because Lala and actual Charians will show up and go, "Motherfucker, stop being an asshole. Come with us."
It's like, but the thing. It's like, dude, just stop.
Dude, it's over.
It's over.
You lost. It happened to the best of us. We were both killed by fucking Amuro. Just come with us.
Oh, okay. Wait, you mean I can stop being exhausted all the time and actually be a person again? Well, sort of.
Well, not really. You're dead, but
yes, you can ascend, dude. Just you can stop being a hollow person. Yes. Oh, thank God. But yeah, that's Gundam Unicorn. So yeah, I guess into final thoughts so we don't run too late.
Yeah.
This actually has been we restrained ourselves really well this time.
We did. Again, this is a very dense series.
There's a lot we could talk about.
Have not touched on.
We haven't even mentioned Angelo.
True.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't really need to.
No. He's got a fancy suit and he's got a major crush on Full Frontal, but
and I will admit he's got some sense of style when he does that whole bow thing as he slides aside after blowing somebody up. That's great.
He's also the world's biggest git.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
At any rate, so I guess into final thoughts, it's me, then Eric, then Gav, since Gav is the one who selected the series, so I gets the final word. Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. It was good. I liked it a lot. I will say it's probably my least favorite Gundam show we've covered. And that's not saying it's bad. It's saying that the other ones we've covered have been really freaking good and were more in my wheelhouse. Also had less space magic. Outside of G Gundam, but G Gundam is a super robot show, not a Gundam series. So
yeah.
And space magic is part of what makes super robot shows awesome in a large part of the large way. But yeah, I in all seriousness though, I think 8th MS Team is probably my favorite Gundam show we've covered. And I totally understand why people love Unicorn. Don't get me wrong. I get it. It's just not my personal favorite. I felt like the characters were really good. I got really invested in a bunch of them. I love Minerva. I love Zimmerman. Marita's great. There's a bunch of great characters. The overall arcing story, I like it better now than I did as I was watching it because I've had time to think about it, and also the reveal of what was in Laplace's box really helped the rest of the story. Like, everything else clicks better once you know what's in the box. The fact that it's actually a political puzzle is actually really freaking cool, and I like that. And it's not a stupid political puzzle. Like, that makes sense. And there's a lot of really well done character stuff. And again, animation's gorgeous. The designs are great. The music's great. The voice acting's great. It's just really well done. It's executed brilliantly. It just doesn't click with me quite the way 8th MS Team or the first season of Iron Blooded Orphans did. I think overall I like it better than the second season of Iron Blooded Orphans. But season 1 was superlative. And I just, Build Fighters was just a truckload of fun, and so was G Gundam. It's a different style of things I like.
Right.
Gundam Origins is fascinating. It's the one that I have the hardest time ranking where I like it in the whole mesh of things. But I think I like it overall better than I like Unicorn. And I'm just saying, I think all those are fantastic, and that means Unicorn is merely very, 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 very good. Gundam Unicorn is a very good show, not a superlative show for me. Is long and short of it. Do I recommend it? Hell, fucking yes, I recommend it. Do you like giant robots? Go watch fucking Gundam Unicorn. Although I would recommend, maybe watching at least one of the Gundam movies or some other Universal Center stuff to give yourself a little bit of a primer first.
Yeah.
You don't need to watch. I don't think you need to watch all of it, but you need either people who know what they're watch it with people who know what's going on, like I did, or do a little prep work for it. But otherwise, fantastic. It's a really good show. I really do recommend it. So Eric.
So I really like Gundam Unicorn. I don't like it as much as 8th MS Team because 8th MS Team is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Or a Gundam series we haven't covered yet, War in the Pocket, which we haven't covered because I don't want to cry. But Unicorn's great. It's got too many endings and too much space magic involved with those endings. But again, Peter's right. The secret of Laplace's box is excellent and amazing and well done. All of the characters are great. Like, even my least favorite characters is still miles above my favorite characters in more mediocre shows.
Mm-hmm.
We have not gone into the complexity and interesting stuff of these characters, except for maybe a little bit of Full Frontal because he's such a central figure. But I could talk all day about how awesome Zinnerman and Marita are as characters.
Mm-hmm.
I almost did the other day. Or even Banniger, who's just this avatar of empathy and goodwill, who is desperately trying to get shit done with as few casualties as possible, but still realizing that casualties are a problem and warning everyone that dies. He's actually a really interesting character. He's still a git, but
well, he is 15. He's 15, so if he wasn't a git, it might not be believable.
He's still a git, but he's a believable and empathetic git, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
There's a lot to recommend this show. It's not 8th MS Team good, but it's still really good. Just be prepared to watch 6 or 7 endings in a row because it doesn't know when to end itself. And apparently it goes on further.
Thus proving that point.
More endings.
Thus proving the point they don't know how to end the goddamn story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also it's a really great series, even divorcing the fact that it has my favorite mobile suit in it. And seriously, you heard me talk about 5 lines in an oval. The amount this is Kyoto Annie degrees of emoting these characters do. It's great. You just watch it for the animation if you don't like the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously.
Yeah. Like a lot of the good Gundam shows, this is... It baits you in with giant robots and then gives you a really good character piece.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to echo Peter more than Eric. It's probably my least favorite of the ones we've covered. But me being the fucking like the tech head, the suit designs in this show are all immaculate. Like from the overblown over design of the Sinanju and just how fucking badass that thing is, not including the Neo Zeong, that's the one blemish. To the Federation Rezels and the transformable ones that turn into little fucking flying saucers, basically. Like such like original, cool looking designs. No one suit looks like another, unless they are legitimately, different variants of the same suit. Like a lot of the gear, a lot of the Geras, the Giradoga, the Gira Zulu, the Rosen, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would probably have liked a little bit more robot in my Giant Robot show, but even so, the characters are well written. The characters, as Eric said, the emotive aspect of them is great. You get the message. I'm not as politically minded and wasn't following along absolutely 100%. I am under no delusions that I'm not exactly politically educated or even erudite enough to speak properly. I just like to use big words and sound intelligent.
Erudite's a good word.
But yeah, it's one of those shows. Yeah, if you're into it for the political, it's there. If you're into it for the giant robots, they're there. If you just want a character piece, it's there. It's a 7-episode show. Well, it's a 20-episode show disguised as a 7-episode show.
Yeah.
But but it's definitely worth watching. It's definitely on the list.
Oh, just briefly, back on the animation thing. Like, it goes without saying that the mobile suit fights are superlative, like, examples of what you can do when you have a budget and passion behind it. Like, the 5 lines in an oval thing is just what they can do with just 5 lines in an oval. When they've got a whole fucking mobile suit fighting another mobile suit, they just go all out. It's
really, the fights are really pretty.
Like I said, the midpoint battle at Torrington is probably one of this. It's probably the second. I think it is rated the second best mobile suit battle in all of Gundam, after the one from 8th MS Team.
8th MS Team, which does have the best.
Oh, that's a good fight. And yeah, the Battle Torrington's fantastic. It really is. So yeah, that's Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. We loved it. We really loved the show. We recommend it. Very, very good.
Like we're knocking it, but it's only because it has to live up against like 8th MS Team and Origins.
Also, I will say that that last chunk of the final episode does drag it down because it stands in stark contrast to the rest of the show we've been watching.
Yeah.
It's a problem. It's a problem of a similar type in an entirely different direction. And not to the scale of Kato the Right Answer.
Yeah.
It doesn't fall as far. Thank God.
It doesn't fall nearly as far.
Right.
It goes a little bit Trigger.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it goes a little bit Trigger.
I mean, we're not talking giant robot space waifu, but and not suddenly aliens, but yeah. Yeah. Anyways, so that's it. We recommend the show. Go watch it. I guess it's my turn to pick a show, and I'm gonna be picking a show that I've seen that I was planning on picking at some point soon, but like AnyTube has been going gaga over it, and I watched a chunk of it and want to finish it, and I figured, well, if I'm gonna finish it, why not finish it with the guys? So we're gonna be covering Odd Taxi, because what I've watched here is fucking brilliant, and I've been hearing the ending is even more so. So yeah.
All right, okay. We're gonna do an esoteric weirdo show. Awesome, I love those.
Yeah, this is the show I watch. People were comparing the sort of writing style and dialogue to Tarantino. I'm looking at it and go, fuck no, it's not Tarantino. It's goddamn David Mamet. The guy Tarantino's trying to ape with his dialogue writing.
So it's totally just a show about a walrus driving a taxi, right?
Actually, yes. There's also a mystery going on, but it's about a walrus driving a taxi, yes.
Yes.
All right, so I think that's it.
Yep. So we'll be back in probably a month or so, be my guess, because Gav we can't meet up for the next couple of weeks. So
Yeah, unfortunately they're going to slow. I'm going to be slowing things down. I'm afraid I've started a new role at work, shall we say? And our usual time slot is now unavailable for me in certain periods. So slowing things down, but we'll be back.
But on the plus side, Odd Taxi's 12 episodes, so
Yeah.
so it will probably be about a month. Would be my guess. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube and you enjoyed this, hit like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, ring the bell, do all the stupid things. Dance, my minions, dance! Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
81 fucking episodes. Validate us, goddammit!